Number 15. Line K intersects with the perpendicular line L at the point of negative 2, 5. The slope of this line K is 2, right? Of line K is 2. So the slope of K equals 2. And what is the x-intercept of P? Oh my God, they're introducing a third line, right? From translating line L up 2.5 units in the xy plane. And so they're asking, what are they asking? They want the x-intercept. Find x-intercept of a third line once we find the perpendicular to this line, right? So let's go step by step. Super confusing. Unless you break it down piece by piece, this is a complicated problem, right? Find P that translates up 2.5 units, right? So the first step is take the slope they give you, right? To get the perpendicular line, what's going to be the slope, right? The perpendicular line is L. We know it's the negative flip of 2. So the slope of L is going to be 1/2 negative, right? 1/2. So now let's use point slope. With what? Well, they gave you the point. The point is this point is the perpendicular on line L. So let's use point slope. And we're going to do y minus the y value is equal to the slope, right? The new slope, perpendicular slope, x minus the x value. Well, x minus minus 2 is plus 2, right? So now let's distribute, right? And we get y is equal to, I'm going to add 5 to both sides to get rid of this 5, right? So plus 5. Distributing minus 1/2 x, right? 2 divided by a negative 2, or minus plus, that's a minus, and 1/2 times 2, that's just going to be 1 plus a 5, right? So the equation of the perpendicular line, this line is L, right, is what? Minus 1/2 x. 5 minus 1 is plus 4. Now I'm not done yet, right, because I need to find P. The original question asked, translate this line L, right, according to moving it up 2.5. Well, that just adds 2.5 to the y value. So that means the equation of line P, right, is add 2.5 to this, plus 2, 1. The slope doesn't change, and I get the equation of line P. Am I done yet? No, because it asks to find the x-intercept. And for me to find the x-intercept, what do? Right? X-intercept means what? Means y is what value? Whenever they say x, you're going to say y is equal to 0, right? Because that is the intercept. If the value of y on the coordinate plane, if the value of y is 0, guess what? This value, right, is y. If I'm at 0 on y, you're crossing the x-axis. So we're going to plug in 0 here, and we're going to solve. And so we're going to bring the 6.5 to this side, and we have minus 6.5 is equal to minus 1/2 x. How do I solve for x? Well, x is being divided. When I multiply by a negative, but when I multiply by some fraction, 1/2, it's the same thing as saying you're dividing x by 2, right? It makes it simpler. Let's just change this to minus x over 2. How do you solve this? Right? How do I solve for this? I'm going to multiply both sides by 2, right? A negative 2, actually, because we need to get rid of the negative as well. So this cancels. I'm just left with a positive x, right? And if I multiply the 6.5 by a negative 2, right, I get a positive, and 2 times 6.5 is 13. So the x-intercept in an ordered pair form, you have to say 13, right, my x value, and 0 for y. So the answer